That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was A Natural Disaster by Anathema. Anathema is such an interesting band because back in the 1990s, they started out as Pagan Angel and were just a sludgy doom metal band. And
Okay.
and they've evolved from that to gothic metal to what you just heard, and now they're some of those beautiful gentle music that I've ever listened to in my life, and just such a wide variety over their career. But ever since the beginning, there's just been this beauty and just wrenching all the emotion they can out of every note.
Yeah, I definitely heard that on that. Like, that vocal performance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was interesting too. I'm curious, what sort of style was this original version of this song?
The original version was not too far off from what you just heard.
Okay.
It was a little bit more electric. I believe that was the main difference, is not as much acoustic guitar, no cello. And I believe...
I love that cello.
I know, so good. Lee Douglas, the singer, I think she sang all of it, including in this version you had the lead singer singing in the background, no matter what I say, no matter what I do. And I believe in the original version, the female vocalist was singing that as well. But some of the songs that they had off of this album, started off as like kind of hard rock songs that they made into this, beautiful acoustic renditions. I think with the exception of only, I think, one or two songs, the acoustic versions are just so much better. Not to put down the original versions, which are phenomenal, but
yeah, I feel like that's a really deep rabbit hole to go down to check out this band at this point.
Yeah,
they've been active for like 30 years. They've been making music that entire time. They've got a ton of albums and so many different styles too.
Yeah, I think 20 something albums. They're definitely a band where listening to the entire album is a rewarding experience, because they're almost concept albums where you can tell they're telling this overarching story and feeling, and they progress so well, and they fit together and flow together so well. But it does leave whatever the story is up to the listener's interpretation to pull as much from it as they can. The lead songwriter, Daniel Kavanagh, just released his own solo album, and exact same thing where it tells this story that you can almost hear, but you can really put as much of yourself into listening as they put into it writing it. And that's an art form that I'm striving for in my own music.
Yeah, that having something that's sort of, it tells a story, but it's abstract enough that you can sort of put yourself onto it a little bit. I think that is an incredible skill.
Yeah. So definitely would recommend listening to them. Even if you listen to it song by song, they're amazing. But album by album, Anathema truly is where that shines. I'm looking forward to, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, they've gone on indefinite hiatus. I'm looking forward to when they get back to releasing new music, because 30 years later, they haven't even 40 years later now. No, 30 years. Yeah, they haven't slowed down. So
yeah, I feel like they'd probably be a pretty good live show too.
Yeah. And of course, all of their tours have been canceled, but hopefully sometime soon they'll come back, because this is a band that I just cannot wait to see what they come out with next.
Yeah. Well, and you were talking about you haven't ever met somebody from the US who's heard of them. And looking at their stats on Spotify, they're apparently really big in Turkey.
Turkey. Interesting.
Their top 3 locations are all in Turkey. The only place in the top 5 that's listed that's even in North America is Mexico City.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because I think that was one of the most recent big tours was through Mexico. But they're a British band to begin with. Turkey, awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a theory with Mexico City too, which is that almost every, and it could just be because it's such a huge population center, but almost any artist that you go onto that would be known globally, like outside of just their small region, Mexico City is gonna be in the top 5, and I feel like it's just. I'm not sure about this, but I feel like it might just be a culture where they just consume a ton of music.
I have no doubt about that. Such a massive city as well, and like the music scene in Mexico City is popping. So
yeah,
good to know. That's where the music scene is, where you can really get anything that you're looking for. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I cut you off there. Was there something that you were going to say?
I don't know. Probably. I'm still just enjoying the overwhelming sensation of emotion that that song always leaves me with.
All right. Well, this has been a good episode. I'm glad I had you on.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have me on. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow, my words are hard to say. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being on. This has been the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about listening to new music with good people.